3.3 Systems of Inequalities. So, solving systems. When we have two lines, one line here, one right here, it's where they actually cross each other. That's the solution to the system. Now, when we have inequalities, we have shading. So, when we have shading, there's multiple different answers. So, we have to look for the solution to this system. So, first thing you have to do is to get the y by itself. So, this first equation, I don't have the y by itself, so I'm going to subtract my 2x. That negative is going to stay with that y. So subtract the 2x, and then I still have this minus 3. Now I have to divide by negative 1. Divide by negative 1 to all three terms. Remember, when you multiply or divide, your sign flips. Your sign flips. So now this equation. I'm going to first graph this equation. Oh, look at that. I wrote in my hand. So up 3, 1, 2, 3. My slope is 2 over 1, so I can go up 2 over 1. You should be using the whole graph. It should not be a short little line here. So now I look at this, is it solid or dotted? Because this line in here, it's a solid line. And it says y is less than, so I'm going to shade below. And when I'm doing my shading, I'm not going to shade it in too hard because there's going to be another equation. So now looking at this equation, the y is already by itself. Notice how I used a different color. If you don't want to use a different color, that's fine. But if you have colors, this is the time to use it. So go up 1, that's my y-intercept. My slope, negative 1/2. I can either put my negative with the 1 or my negative with the 2, not with both. So I can either go down 1 to the right 2 and plot those points, or I can go up 1 to the left 2. This is also going to be a solid line and a solid line. And it says y is greater than. So if you just do that, you will get majority of points. You will not get full credit though. You have to be able to clearly tell me what the solution is. The solution is where the two cross. So because both of these are solid lines, any points on these lines will work, but the actual numbers that include everything, this is my overall solution. I want you to pause the video and try to rewrite the first equation by yourself. So your first equation should look like this. My y-intercept is 2. My slope is negative 1/2. Remember, when you have negative 1/2, negative either goes on top or bottom. I want you to plot that line right now and check your answer with mine. So pause and try to do it yourself. And it should look like this. The second equation is already by itself. So my slope here, or my y-intercept is down 1. So this negative 1 is either on top or on bottom. Here you have to be careful because this one does not have a line in it. So this should be a dotted line. Dotted means that if you pick any points on this line, it does not work for the system. It says it's greater than, so I'm shading above. So my overall answer, again, if you just leave it like that, if you're doing it with pencils, you just make sure to clearly show where the two overlap. So this right here is my answer, not including those points on that line. Same thing here, but now we have a little bit of special equations. So y is less than 3. So first, how do you graph y? So there's no x, just the y. So I go where y is 3. So 1, 2, 3. And the line for a single variable goes in the direction of the tick marks because this is where y is 3. This whole line right here is where y is 3. And it says y is less than, so anything below that line. If for some reason the second one you cannot do, you can plug this into your calculator. So if you remember, this moves it to the right one. I'm going to go right 1. My slope here is up 1 over 1. Again, this is where you can use your calculator to figure out what your points are. It's going to be a solid line. Notice how I'm taking up the whole graph. I'm not just going a small amount. It says y is greater than. So anything right here. So when I'm looking at this actual answer, it's going to be shaded right here. This triangle is my overall solution. It includes all the points on those lines because the fact that those are all solid. I want you to graph this first one by yourself because that should be a straight line. First line should look something like this. This is going to move it to the right 1 and down 3. Right 1, down 3. My slope here is a positive 2. So again, these points that I'm doing right now, you can also find on your graphing calculator. Again, that would be dotted. Both of these are dotted. So none of the points on the lines will work for these solutions. And this one says it's greater than. So again, this one also, the solution is this triangle, but none of the points on the lines would work. Bing, bada, boom. And that's all, folks. I hope you have a great, grand, wonderful day.